wandering around Europe in search of the megalith, a stone circle called Long Meg and Her Daughters. The stone circle known as Long Meg and Her Daughters is located in Cumbria in the Midwest of England. The nearest city is Penrith and village is Little Salt. Nearest train station is Langwithby. The Shire of Cumbria contains a beautiful national park known as the Lake District, and Long Meg and Her Daughters are located to the east of the Lake District. The ruins date from the Neolithic to the early Bronze Age, between 3200 and 2500 BC. It is the third largest stone circle after Avebury and Stanton Drew. It forms an ellipse from east to west, with its longest diameter being 112.1 meters and its shortest being 91.0 meters. There are 66 megaliths in total, of which 27 are still standing. According to records from the 16th century, there were 77 of them. In ancient times, this region was covered with ice. The glacier moves nearby granite stones with the current. These stones are glacial erratic. The glacier also scrapes the rocks around it. When the glacier era ends, a lake will be formed there. The lake will be an elongated lake, far from circular. Such lakes are called loch. This is the Loch Ness that everyone is familiar with. Long Meg is 3.6 meters long and weighs 9 tons, and stands 23 meters southwest of the stone circle called the Her Daughters. It is made of red sandstone and has cups, rings, spirals and concentric circles carved on its surface. Take a look at this Long Meg. What does it look like? I imagined the profile of a person wearing a hat, coif, that a woman in Camper, France, who had visited before, was dressed. From Langwasby Station, Long Meg and Her Daughters are 5 kilometers each way. Again, I had no choice but to walk. So I left my luggage in the grass on the bank of a tributary of the Eden River and continued walking in search of a stone circle. The joy I felt when I saw the stone circle in front of me was a great deal. As for Long Meg and Her Daughters and astronomy, it is as illustrated as follows. The sunset direction of the winter solstice at this local is 228.1 degrees. And the sunrise on the summer solstice is 44.8 degrees. The bearing from near the center of the stone circle to Long Meg is 228.0 degrees, and the reverse is 44.8 degrees. It coincides with the sunset of the winter solstice and the sunrise of the summer solstice. Unfortunately, there is no marker to mark the center of the stone circle. I sought out how to determine the center of the stone circle, which is called the Daughters. That's when I came across Professor Alexander Thom's MRGalithic sites in BRITEN. This diagram is a diagram of a stone circle drawn by Professor Alexander Thom in the above material. The orientation from the center of this diagram to Long Meg coincided with 44.8 degrees sunrise on the summer solstice and 228.0 degrees sunset on the winter solstice. Hopefully, someone will find evidence of something in the center later, such as a depression in which a megalith stood. According to tradition, Long Meg and her daughters were all turned to stone by a wizard because the witches held a meeting on the Sabbath. As in other circles, these stones are said to be uncountable. And if someone can count them twice and reach the same sum, the spell is broken. It is also said that when local retinue tried to remove the stones, a terrible storm swept overhead, and the plan was immediately aborted. According to other prophecies, if Long Meg were to be shattered, she would bleed and escape. It must have been past 5 o'clock when Long Meg and her daughters turned back to Langwasby station. Both the pub and the station kiosk were closed. Tired and hungry, I waited for the next train in the square near the pub. One of the boys who was hiking with his family in the square handed me a sandwich. They probably saw me looking for a restaurant after being unable to eat in the pub or the kiosk. Thanks to the boy, the deliciousness of the sandwich, I was energized. In Europe, if you go to a provincial town, all the shops will close after 5 o'clock. I could have tolerated it if it had only been the shops. But it was difficult when the public toilets were locked and I couldn't use them. However, this was around the year 2000. Today, the situation may have changed. There is a little Meg nearby. It is 600 meters northeast of Long Meg and her daughters. This is the curb of the cairn, and although the cairn is gone, the curb remains in a circle. There are 11 curbs, 2 of which are engraved with cups, rings, concentric circles, and spiral patterns. In addition, a coffin and an urn used for cremation have been excavated from it. A Kodo player, BGM, Ms. H. Kaneda. YouTube production, Megalith FM. Narrator, Google Translation.